All righty, there we go. Hello, hello, hello. Incredible greetings, everyone. It is Friday, and it's time for Hey Professor, our weekly Q&A session. So we're doing a little Friday live edition, Friday lunchtime live edition. This is your opportunity to pick the brain of the professor. If you have questions in regards to Silhouette Studio, sublimation, pigment ink printing, eco-solvent printing, DTF printing, DTG printing, designing, business, marketing, YouTube, all of the things. This is your opportunity to, like I said, pick my brain, gain from the experience that I've had, anything that interests you, anything that you've been inquiring about, Googling, YouTubing, TikToking, and putting in searches for things. If you have that question, I just might be able to help you with that, whatever that question or inquiry is, and have an answer for you, because I have a lot of experience within the creative industry, the craft industry, when it comes to business and so much more. All right. So I am not fulfilled if I'm not teaching at least once a day. So we come on to be able to share, the things, the knowledge that I have been blessed to learn. All right. So let's go over here real quick. And let me change my audience. Okay. So I'm going to do a quick intro. We do have a few questions over here on Tickety Talk Talk. So we're going to start there. Feel free to post your questions. Ooh, be active, be engaged. Don't just kind of, rely on others to provide the questions, like whatever it is that you want to know. You can start posting your questions now. I actually do scroll back up and look for anything that I have missed. But we're going to go ahead and intro. Incredible greetings, everyone. I am Shakia Lavelle Pericles. I'm known as Shakia, the professor of HSINK365. We are the home of the Honestly Speaking brand of products. We carry the absolute best, most efficient, hassle-free, perfect for beginners. Like, it's, if you are a beginner to sublimation, like, there is no reason why you should not have it, because it's going to eliminate a lot of those growing pains and learning curves when it comes to learning sublimation, because it's simple. You don't have to do a lot of thinking. It's like the same temp, the same time for just about every single substrate. The most that you would have to do is really adjust your pressure. And then for a lot of things, you don't even have to do that. You don't need heavy pressure. So it's perfect for beginners. If you're just getting into sublimation, you definitely want to visit our website, shop.hsink365.com, or you want to hit up our TikTok shop and check out our products. We carry paper from 8.5 by 11 all the way up to 13 by 19. And then, of course, we have our classes where I'm teaching you guys how to design, mainly via Silhouette Studio. A lot of the people who come to my platform are newer to like getting into designing, and things like Photoshop can be a little bit intimidating. So I got into this to introduce and kind of soft launch people into designing, because you can do a lot with the Silhouette Studio software. If you don't know, although it is the program that's used to control the Cameo family of, the Silhouette family of machines. So your Cameos, your Portraits, your Curio, your Alpha, and your Mint, it is a pretty decent standalone graphic designing software. I've done quite a bit. This shirt that's under me, the back was messed up, but I can show it because the young lady, she posted it and she tagged me. So if you kind of look at my name, anyone that's a friend with me on Facebook is going to see it anyway. But being able to set this shirt up, his 100 days of school project, he wanted 100 pictures of his family. So between the text and then dropping the pictures inside the Polaroids and the circles, all of this was done in Silhouette Studio. So you can do a lot in the program. You do not have to have a Silhouette machine in order to use it. It's standalone. You go to their website, silhouetteamerica.com, you download it, and you can start designing and creating literally today, as long as you want to, get into it and actually design. You got to put forth the effort. Don't give up. It can be kind of intimidating for some. It's not like, just 4 buttons, 4 little things. It's some things that you can really do some things with. But you have to give yourself time to learn all the tools and functions so that you can, do the things with the program. But we have tons and tons. We have 9 years of video content over on our YouTube channel, Silhouette Anonymous. You can learn even from the tutorials and the teachings from the old version. The screen looks different. The names remain the same. How they work, all those things remain the same. So you can still learn from our old content as well. If you would like more structured content and something where it's more of like hands-on to really help you understand the why, not just the how, check out our academy, 365 Creative Academy. You can enroll into classes via the same site that you would purchase the paper and the ink from. There is a section on there to take advantage of the 365 Creative Academy classes. Right now, the Essentials to Silhouette Studio is the live class that's going on right now, to where we have live sessions every single week. We're about to do the same thing with like Photoshop. We have some for grad season coming up, vector designing. So we're about to ramp up and have a lot of live sessions here in the next couple of months. So be sure to get on our email list, as well as just continue to follow us so that you can keep up on all those things. I'm always going to go live to talk about any launches that we have. All right. So I like to do these sessions because I know not everyone can, jump into a class, or maybe you missed a live class and you need an answer in real time. So I come on these platforms and I'm here to answer any questions. This is not a planned out class. I'm not doing a demo. The quality of the content that is here depends on what you guys bring to the table, right? So the more questions that you guys ask, and you can get very detailed, right? You don't have to ask surface level. Whenever I'm on here, I'm okay with not answering like surface level. Now, there are some things that I just never talk about outside of classes, but it's always something like a workaround, and I can offer you something. But some information, I will say, is reserved for certain classes, all right? But feel free to drop your questions. You don't have to wait until one question is answered before you drop yours, because I will go back and look at all the questions, okay? So like I said, we had a few questions starting us out over on TikTok. So we're going to look at those and then go from there, all right? So a couple of questions over here was, what setting would you use on a 2800 EcoTank? I have your Sublimation ink and somebody else's paper. Well, I can't tell you a setting really for someone else's paper. I'm not an influencer. I'm not a content creator that's just using a bunch of different papers. We have our own product line, honestly speaking, Sublimation paper. So the settings that I'm going to recommend would be settings that work with our paper, and you don't have to use like heavy amounts of ink. Like some people would use premium presentation paper matte, which takes a lot longer to print. It's an oversaturation of ink. We print everything with plain paper, bright white setting, and we get amazing results. So it's not about the ink. It a lot of times, as far as like what setting you would use, it's about more so the paper. So I would not be able to give you a setting now. You're more than welcome to try the settings that we use for our paper, but I cannot guarantee that they will work because I don't use that brand of paper. Is there a way to remove backgrounds and images? If you mean in Silhouette Studio, no. Like if it's like, let's say there's a picture, like you take a picture of me right now, you want to remove this background. No, there's no like button to click. You can use like edit points to, outline me and then crop out or subtract out the background. But there is no like, background remover where it's going to pick it up and then just scan it. I use remove.bg, which I pay for so I can get high quality images, but I also use Photoshop. Canva has a background remover, and like some other ones, but Silhouette does not have one. So I cannot say, I tested the settings for our paper. Can you try to use it for others? You sure can. I cannot tell you like what's going to be the best or ideal setting for the paper that you are using. I just know that, they're general settings. Anyone can use these settings. It's just the settings that we use, and it's based off of our paper. not saying that you can't use it with that particular printer, but we know that we did those so that the ink releases without needing to have a high amount of like ink. You know, we have those settings. And our paper is one because it's fast dry. It's not an instant dry, it's a fast dry. So if you put that much ink on there, you're going to have to clean your rollers a lot, and it takes a lot longer to print. Incredible greetings. Aw, thank you so very much. Incredible afternoon. Hello, hello. Thank you guys so very much for jumping on. Happy Friday. Hello, hello. Coastal Georgia. Thank you, thank you. Hi, Miss Karen. Nancy, how art thou? Valerie from Illinois. Oh, another Valerie, just spelled a different way. Hey, 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 welcome in. Hi, Sandra. You missed the class yesterday? Online tools? And thank you for watching from both platforms. Can you explain the split tile for all over print? I noticed that when I split, some of the images print shorter. Which program are you using? Are you talking about doing it and doing it with Silhouette Studio? Are you cropping in Silhouette Studio, or are you trying to use the poster tiling, like if you save it as a PDF or and you're using like Adobe Reader? What are you actually using to tile it? So you're doing it in Silhouette Studio. Do you have Business Edition to where once you design it, you are saving it as a JPEG or a PDF file? Because if you're just designing it and just kind of layering it there, you're not going to really be able to like crop it. Now, in my class for like the all over, like if you're wanting to do that and I'm doing oversized prints, I do show a way where you don't have to split it at all. On the free platforms, I show you kind of, hey, this is how you can do it. I don't give you the easy route. I just show you, hey, this is a possibility. This is what you can do. Now, if you want to learn the easier route, you can always join our class. But if you were trying to follow the video that I have on YouTube, you do have to flatten it first. So that means that you're going to complete your design. You're going to have it set, like, make your design page that size. And or you can do, well, if you're going to do it as a JPEG, you can go save selection as. You're going to save that as a JPEG. You have to then bring that back in to Silhouette Studio to be able to crop it down. The other thing is how you're cropping it, right? If you set it to crop to, let's say, 13 by 19, and it's the full 13 by 19, you have to remember that it's not printing borderless. Or if you're choosing borderless, it's stretching it. So your print is not going to line up. There is a margin around, every single print. When you have the drivers on for the Epson printer, it is 0.125 all the way around. So if you go and you're cropping it down and then you're printing it to like 11 by 17 and you did not account for that inner part, the margin, should I say, when you go to print it, you technically have 0.25 that's missing, like total. So when you go to line it up, it's going to seem like it was shorter, but it's not that. It's just it printed, well, what was in the margins will not print. So you have to, in the video that I have that's on YouTube, I say, if you're using 13 by 19 paper, you're going to do a 13 by 19 box. You're going to do an internal offset for 0.125, or you can even go a little bit, if you want to make sure that you're nowhere near the edges, you can go and do like an internal offset of 0.15, or maybe like 0.2. That is the box that you're going to crop down to. And then you also need to have overlap of it. Like, so it's not just cropping it to size, because when you go to print it, you go to cut it, it may not line up. So in the video, I show you have your box, you're going to duplicate it and you're going to come back some, duplicate it and come back some so that you have overlap. Are you overlapping them when you're cropping? So you're doing the method where you have your box and you have a bunch of repeats of the image, and then you're cropping to each, like, so if you needed 9 sheets of paper, you should have, well, technically, I mean, some people say it doesn't work if they don't just use like the 9, but you would need like 9 copies of that print, and you're going to crop it to the first sheet, the second sheet, the third sheet, the middle sheet, the second row. So you're going to have to do all of those crops. Is that the method that you are using? Yeah, so unless you are, when you're printing, are you setting it to borderless? If you are, don't do that, because that's going to stretch it and it's going to make it where it's not aligned. I mean, if you're doing that, what's on your screen is what should print. So that's the only thing that I can think of, is somewhere in your print settings, you are changing the scale of it. Because if you're just cropping it down and you're taking that exact one and putting it on your page, it should not print shorter. Welcome in everyone over here. We have quite a few people in the room. Be sure to double tap the screen. I am Shakia, the professor, and right now we're doing a Q&A. So if you have questions about designing, sublimation, business, marketing, how to get, how to increase your, your traffic, your customers, any questions that you have on this journey of entrepreneurship, creative business craft, in your crafting and monetizing your crafts, this is your opportunity to ask an industry expert in this, who is still actively taking orders and making money in this industry. I don't just teach it. I still also sell. Just actually had to finish an order yesterday, had to do the shirt that I showed earlier, had to do that one. So I still actively design for customers. So what you can, Dee, if you are on Facebook, if you run into that issue, take a screenshot of exactly what's on your screen. It's even better if you can record your process and, let me see, okay, this is how I'm setting it up. This is how I'm cropping it. This is how I'm bringing it onto the screen to print it out, and then go from there. How often are you doing all over shirts? Or how often are you trying to do them with this method? Thank you for the share. I'm not sure who shared, but I see the share down there. Thank you so much for the share. Guys, continue to double tap the screen. All right. I keep trying to convince myself to do these, but if there are no questions, so you've only done it about 3 times. Have you ever considered just like designing it and then submitting it to someone to print out? That way you don't have to tile it together, because I mean, it is a lot. Like, it's not I've shown it because people have asked, but outside of maybe like really, really last minute for my family, I don't like to tile all over shirts. If anything, I'll tile for like towels and stuff like that. But the method that I use is a little bit different than how you guys are doing it by like cropping it down. I don't really use that method. I'm still printing in sections, but I don't use that method. Can you see the hexagon hardboard? So there's this one. I've even done these I've done these for so many different things. We've designed awards for companies. We've done them as memorials. This one just has our branding on it, and this one just has, it's like a composition notebook, and it just says Shakia the Professor, subject, creative business, and then our website. I don't even know where the bottom to this one is. And this is printed plain paper, bright white. And look at the colors. The black is black, and I do not use premium matte. That's the thing too. If there's something that I maybe have still here in this space and you guys want to know about like making something or creating something, you can always ask that question as well. All this hair on my shirt. Those are nice. I want one for my desk at work. Yeah, I mean this is something y'all know I'm team small. So this is something that you can print using just 8.5 by 11 paper for the main part and the base. Both parts, excuse me, can be sublimated. And this is something that's high profit value. And it can be printed on just 8.5 by 11. So you're not limited. If you have the small format printer, there's a lot that you guys can do with the small format printers, and this is one of them. Nope, we don't. We only offer discounts one time a year. Now you can see if TikTok Shop has it, but we do not offer discounts. We do it one time a year, and that's it. I'm sorry, twice a year. We do it for our anniversary, and we do it for the end of the year. We don't even do Black Friday sales for our paper. We have Christmas or not even say Christmas. We have end of the year sales. We don't do Christmas sales. We do end of the year sales, and we do our anniversary. That's it. Any other time, well, I'm not going to say that. That's a lie. We also do, but it's only for certain products. For dolphins, we tried to figure out how to do it when it comes to the heat, but they literally can play like every day or every other day. So that doesn't really work. But dolphins is like once a week. So we do it during the football season. You can get discounts and our anniversary and end of the year. Other than that, no. I am not a believer in I'm not a believer in just doing discounts just for the hell of it. Now, let me tell you how I can do discounts. I can do like the big corporations, and I can make it more than what the value is just so that I guess for consumers, you can feel like you're getting a discount. So I would change my prices to make them more and then say, yeah, here's a discount, but it's really the amount that we want to profit anyway. So the blank spot. I had to think for a second. The blank spot has them. And I also don't teach that. I don't teach all these, maybe for like, some people do it for like first time buyers, but since we have a sample pack, we don't really do a first time, your first order, you're going to get We have a sample pack. So if you want to try it out, get one of the sample packs. I'm just not a firm believer in, every business needs to have discounts all year round. Then that's all people tend to look for, and they only want to shop with you when you have discounts. Any other time, they will just go somewhere else. So, but everybody doesn't, that doesn't work for everyone. But I kind of teach my students about that. Like when you do bundles, some people give like steep discounts for bundles. And I'm like, I don't know why. You're still doing the same amount of work. You have a small format printer. Yeah, even though I have a large format, because just in case, I am still very much so team small. I prefer to do smaller projects. I actually don't really care for shirts, to be honest. I really don't like Sublimation shirts. Like there's so many other ways to like make shirts and stuff. And it can make it easier, but I'm not that designer that does a lot of stuff with all these crazy backgrounds and light flares, and that's what people want to use Photoshop for, is for the flares and glows and all that. I asked a question today on my, what type of designer are you, or would you like to be? Because it's different levels to it. Most of my things are going to be text-based or vector-based. I like shapes. I like text. I like I don't do a lot of backgrounds to things. So when I'm designing, I feel like my design style is a little bit more versatile because I can use vinyl or anything that can be cut. So if I do something that is printable vinyl, it still needs to have a defined cut line and not like all of this distressed ends and jagged, because that's going to take forever to cut. I can do screen print transfers with a lot of the things that I design. I can't, well, DTF, you're not really limited in it, but when you have fades and stuff, you still end up seeing that white. White toner transfers. Like, I'm not limited. Now, if you are somebody that goes and, like, let's say you like designs that are like this, you're very limited in the methods that you can use this and apply it to different things. So when I ask, like, what type of designer are you? Do you want to be a vector one? Do you want to have, like, all of these, like, more like the things like the AI creates and having these glows and all those different things. So I'm more of a simplistic type of designer. I do mostly text-based designs. Yeah. I like to figure out a way to make the, like, text very, very, oh, child, as in next week. Oh, whoa. Hold on one second. I may have to turn down an order because a week for memorial stuff is a very, 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 very short time frame. Um, what are some of the team small items one could use in their business? Like, meaning, like you're saying in your business, like things that you would make for you to help promote and push your business, things that you can make for you, or meaning things that you can make to sell to others? New subby here. I found you talking about the printers. Welcome. Glad you decided to stick around. We're not working on anything. Today is our Q&A day. You have things like, maybe you're talking about like sublimation, you have buttons, you have keychains, mugs. I like, most times you're not really trying to do like a full cup, like a full, like all over mug. So things like mugs, license plates, plaques, door hangers, trying to think. I do, well, see, for me, I got into sublimation for cheer bows. That's still kind of small. Um, Other things are like, there's still like, memorial or just keepsake ribbons, memorial ribbons, things like that. Trying to think what else. Other things that I've done. I said keychains. I like ornaments. I like memorial cards. I don't do business card summation because I think that's a waste. But I like them for like memorial cards. I'm trying to think. But yeah, that's just kind of to name a few. I don't like doing, I like rags. Definitely like doing rags. I'm not a big, I'll do the towels, but because I have to like do it in sections, I don't prefer to, like, it's not something that I want to like advertise. And I have like a bunch of orders for towels right now because I don't have a large format printer. That's something that you have to piece together. I mean, anything that I don't have to piece together, I prefer. And then when it comes to shirts, the only reason why is like good polyester shirts are a little bit thicker. and you have to, like for me, I have to double press. So doing that one sometimes is like, compared to having a large printer, a large format printer. So for me, if I had a large format printer, even if it's not a full all over design, I'm not going to print it where, how can I put it? I'm not going to print it where it's like small ones and kind of placing it there. I would still print it out based off of the shirt, and I'm going to press it because I don't want any lines of demarcation. I don't want to have to press it again. So I'm going to print it. Some people see it as a waste of paper. Hey, I mean, I'm still charging for it, but I would end up having it print to where that's going to be in the middle. I'm going to put the whole thing down, and I'm not going to have any lines of demarcation. It's going to be a one press and done. I don't want to have to go and cut stuff down, put it there, and then have to change my pressure. Now, if I had another heat press and I had enough power, it probably wouldn't bother me because I would be able to press it and have that heat press set at a standard pressure, and then have my second heat press that was already set up for that second press, and I would not have to change the pressure. So like the Hotronics one, that is like the double platen, and you can literally change your pressure on it. Now I can see me doing it that way. Now if I had that to where I can take it from one and then put it on the next one, like, and then let it, well, with the air one, I wouldn't even need to, because with the air, you can do like the first press, that can be a certain pressure. And then for the second press, I can just, it's automatically set up. It's going to increase the pressure. Now, if I ever get that one, I probably wouldn't mind, but how I do my shirts, I always do a second press to take out the line of demarcation from the paper. You are very welcome. Hey, you got those creations. How art thou? Oh, because I just thought about, I closed my eyes and I thought about cheer. So things like flags or fans, love doing those. Yeah, but those are some of the items that I enjoy doing. I am incredible. What does my shirt say today? Oh, because I'm actually have to design some more. I'm probably gonna wear my shirt that says "There's no American history without Black history" on. If I go live tomorrow, I'm probably gonna wear that. But my goal is to wear a different Black history shirt. This is more so my Dr. King shirt. How be he ever? It's still fitting. So it says, I am King's dream. Wait, I am the manifestation of King's dream. Me and my humongous boobs. So yeah, I am the manifestation of King's dream. So it's more of my Dr. King shirt, but I didn't feel like looking through my drawer for my other Black history shirts. Because I have one that says there is no American history without Black history. I have one that says living unapologetically Black. I have the be advised, I'm an extraordinary brown girl. I have the Cocoa Queen one as well. So I got quite a few, but I feel like looking for them. But every day you will see me in one of my Black History Month or for the culture shirts. Thank you for asking about my shirt. Yesterday, you guys didn't see me. They saw me on TikTok, and I had on my Black Pledge shirt. That one I'm probably going to wear a couple of times this month. Well, not that one. I'm going to make a couple of them, but I'll probably have that design on a couple of times this month. And then yeah, so I have a couple designs. But thank you for remembering. Like, it's the fact that I love the fact that you listened when I said that I would have on a different Black history shirt every day. So that's the part that stood out to me, because I'm like, I don't feel like you could see it. And then when you ask, well, what does your shirt say today? I like the fact that you listen, girl. And this actually does sit a little too low, because going off of this, and I wasn't thinking. This actually should have been up here, and so then the A should have been here, which is why, you know, we don't go off of like 3 fingers down of like where the top of like the design is, because the I is the only thing that's up. The dot of the I is the only thing that's up there. So it makes it sit. If you go here, everything else sits too low. So this actually should have come up to about here. So it should sit more like this. But that was my bad. I know. That one I'd rather have some. I got to figure out contracts for that one, because I really don't want to have, like, a flag is huge. So for me to try and press in sections, I'm like, it's just not worth it. But I'm also not about to just send my design. You know, sometimes folk is, you know, they can't be trusted. So that's something that I definitely have to get legal involved in to make sure that contracts and agreements are in place where they know that this cannot ever be used. You can't take sense of anyone. If I end up sending it and having it produced, or having someone like print it and press it, because I really don't, even if I have it printed big, I don't want to sit there and do a flag and press it. Like, I need to have a large format press for it. Because I kept going through it. I'm like, I did a flag once and I was like, oh, this is for the birds. Ain't nobody got time for this. Ain't nobody got time for this. And I was like, never again. I am definitely not that person that feels like because you have a sublimation printer, you have a heat press, that you should be trying to do all the things. I have no problem saying hell's no. I'm not that don't leave money on the table type of person. It's some things where I'm just like, no thanks. Get somebody else to do it. If I wanted to make shirts with just text, what is the biggest size of shirt you would recommend? There's no limit. There really isn't. I mean, I've done shirts from a 2T to a 5X. So it just depends on, you know, your heat press and whether or not you want to press it in sections. Oh, using 8.5 by 14 paper. Again, it also depends on your design, because you have 14 inches this way. So if it's like one word, you can use 8.5 by 14-inch paper for a 3X shirt, a 4X shirt, because you can go, well, 13.5 inches wide, but you can go wide, and, you know, you have 8 inches and it'll just go across the center of a shirt. That's a thing. Like, you know what? That's a really, really good question there, because most people would think that you can't do, like, you automatically go and someone will say, oh, you have an 8.5 by 14-inch printer, and they'll think that you can't do large shirts. I mean, of course you can always piece it together, but even if you don't piece it together, if you have a design that's like one word or a couple of words where it's going to fit, you can't think of it just like this. If you turn it, you now have 14 inches wide and you have 8 inches. Like, that's not, you know, it's not a small space. So you can make a design for a 3X, 5X shirt with 8.5 by 14. Good question. That was a really great question. My printer has been down for a month, gave up, went back to your old videos and figured it out. Thanks, it was clogged. I'm guessing you have a cartridge-based printer. If you figured it out, I'm guessing you have a cartridge-based printer. Those are a lot easier to fix than EcoTank printers. I just wish there was a good cartridge-based printer to recommend now, because now there isn't. So you're kind of stuck with the janky EcoTank printers or going with a true sublimation printer. Still can't. So in order to release the like that, you have to do ink cartridge replacement, because that's not going to move. So you have to go to ink cartridge replacement. When you go ink cartridge replacement, that is how you can open up that door and also move it. So when you do the ink cartridge replacement, it actually automatically moves it over and then you would be able to lift open the top. But you can't just open the lid and do that. You have to go to the settings and do ink cartridge replacement. Ooh, this says I have no connection. Can you guys still hear me? My 7210 went out. I'm going to try to change out, although I think I messed it up because now I have an error on it that comes up every time I plug it in. But I'm going to see if me changing out the print head clears that. If it doesn't, I have to set up my other 7720. But I was like, I'm not going to do that one on camera because it's kind of like almost like taunting. You can't get that printer anymore. So there's no sense in me like showing a setup of that printer because it's not going to be relevant to anybody because that printer doesn't exist anymore. For a Workforce 7210, how often do you think the maintenance tank needs to be replaced? It just depends on how often you're using, what's the thing called? Print head cleanings. Oh, drew a whole blank. How often are you using print head cleanings? If you're printing, regularly, if you are making sure that your cartridge doesn't necessarily like run low all the time. For me, I do print head cleanings mainly when I need to reset a cartridge. I don't, so like, let's say if your magenta goes out, you don't have a chip resetter to reset everything else. Your magenta goes out. By the time you take that out, reset it, put it back in, before it does the next print, it's going to do a print head clean. Like that's automatic. So then if your cyan goes out right after that, it has to do a print head cleaning again. So having that chip resetter does help because once one color is out, for me, I'm actually going to take all of those out. I keep 2 or more sets of cartridges. I'm going to take that whole set out. I have a set that's already been reset, refilled, and I'm just going to put that in, right? Close it up, boom, done. Unless I'm on live, and then I'll kind of show the process. And then that set that I took out, I'm going to reset everything. I'm going to top them all off. I'm going to put them in my little Dollar Tree bin until the next time. That way, I'm only doing a print head cleaning that one time. Like it's going to go through that cycle of a print head cleaning because you just change out the cartridges. It has to start flowing again. So for me, I'm not doing this whole print head cleaning like every 2 seconds and just doing a bunch of them. I'll do push air and it's like a couple other things. So there's really no set. And if you're just kind of printing and you don't have a lot of clogs, you don't have reasons to do print head cleanings, yours can last a long time. I have a printer that I've had for well over 5 years, 4 to 5 years, and my maintenance box is nowhere near being full. Yes, right. Like I'm glad I have backups. I almost gave it away. My family was like, "Girl, you better get them that 7820." I'd like to see the setup of the 7820. A few things have changed. No, nothing has changed. I mean, unless you have a brand spanking new one, seeing the setup of it, nothing's going to be different from the last time. I start with my Epson cartridges, and I set it up like that. My same exact ones, I fill in prime, I put them in, and that's it. There's nothing's going to be different from any of the other videos. Yeah, nothing has changed with the 7720. Sounds like I've learned a good amount from you over the years. I keep an extra set of HS ink cartridges and try to print daily. Yes. I can't remove the little door that was supposed to snap off. You removed it easily. So are you doing an ink cartridge replacement? So you have to do ink cartridge replacement. And then once you do it, you slide it over, you pull it, and then it's that little thin black, like it's like a little ledge. All you gotta do is just push it and and just pull it up. It's gonna separate it. That's it. But you have to do ink cartridge replacement. Like if you don't, it's not gonna open. I have a 7720 and changed it over to sub and still haven't used it. How long ago did you change it over? You don't want that to sit for too long. I mean, it's not hard to get it back going because you just have to push air through the refillable cartridges through the vent hole to kind of get it back going. But you don't want that to sit for too long. My printer stopped taking ink. Which printer do you have? So yeah, ink cartridge replacement. I mean, yeah, ink cartridge replacement. When you pull it over, open it, that little black ledge, just tug on it this way, and that one side is gonna pop off, and then the other side. Also, rotating your cartridge because sometimes people have issues and they just keep doing print head cleanings, and it's never going to change it because they don't. You have to change some sort of variable to see where the issue is. And sometimes it's your cartridges. People think that cartridges will last them like forever. Technically, like you think about a regular cartridge, you use it and then you throw it away. Like, it's discarded or you recycle it, you turn it in. You're trying to use this cartridge over and over and over again, and you're taking it out, putting it back in, taking it out, putting it back in, taking it out, putting it back in, especially depending on like how often you are printing. So you can wear out the cartridge and it's not going to print out ink the same way. It's not going to expel the ink the same way. So when you have more than one set of cartridges and you are rotating them, you are instantly extending the lifespan of your cartridges and not having to replace them. That's one of the reasons why we still keep 252 cartridges, because there's a lot of people that have them and they're going to run out. Like the cartridges eventually get to a point where they're worn out and you need another one. Something as simple as changing out your cartridge can change the way that it prints out. Often when I start getting lines in the images, one cartridge has errored or I've been out of time for a bit, I will start rotating cartridges with ink fills. Yeah. Yep. And that way that gives you time. You don't have to really rush to reset it and refill. You can get right back to printing. So I highly recommend rotating your cartridges. Also, if there's anybody over here that wants to come in the box to ask your question, don't mind that at all. Yeah, we do. 252s XLs. Yep. What is the difference between 1.8, 2.2? The 2.2 prints darker. That's it. It just prints darker. So if you have something with dark colors, you can use the 2.2 settings. I still keep mine on 1.8, but some people like that, like switching it if they have darker colors, especially blacks. Hey. I have a 7720 and all of a sudden the ink stopped coming through. I put in cleaning cartridges and I'm letting them sit and pray it works. So letting that sit won't necessarily work because I mean you have to push it through. So a cleaning cartridge and letting it sit there, no, because it has a little stopper. Nothing is going through. That ink does not just sit on the print head until it activates and it sucks out that ink. It's not it's not on there. So what you want to do is watch our video on push air. So if you go Silhouette, no, honestly speaking, push air, you're going to see that video where you're going to use your syringe. You're going to basically put a ink cartridge replacement so you can move your ink carriage. You're going to put a paper towel under there. You're going to push air through your, you're going to push air through the vent holes. Because even if you use, let's say like a cleaning cartridge, right? You're now flushing all that ink out. And this is where, you know, someone asks how long before you change your maintenance box. Some people go and they will flush it out. And what they'll end up doing is doing a bunch of print head cleanings until they start to see all the colors coming in. No, all you have to do is just go and push the air through the vent hole. And that's going to eliminate needing to do a bunch of print head cleanings. When you rotate the cartridge, do you have to store them especially so they don't dry out? No. I just throw them in a little bin. That's it. They really don't dry out like that. For a 2720, that's one of the downsides of EcoTank printers. One of the reasons why I don't recommend them. It's not an easy thing. You take a chance of, you know, it still not working, and you know you can take it apart. You can take, if it's not printing at all, you can take the chance of opening it up, trying to kind of push. Like you have to have a certain, you have to get like the ink cleaning kit. But it's only one tube. So you're going to have to like do it on yellow, rinse it out, do it on magenta, then cyan, and then black. And then of course, rinse it out. But you're going to have to like push the ink through it. And then try to put the syringe in the bottom and pull it. If you use a company and they gave you like a little 10 milliliter syringe, that ain't going to cut it. We do have 20 and 30s. That's going to be a lot better to kind of help you really pull that air and stuff out. So you can try it that way to see if it clears it. But EcoTank printers can backflow and it just sucks. I'm telling y'all, EcoTank printers were the biggest scam ever. Just saying. I answered that one. I said, yes, we do. I used the purge PDF file you shared a while ago as well to possibly avoid a print head cleaning. So can I be honest? I really wish I could take that video down or like video, like references for those. And I mean, okay, so I don't know if I should be this honest. Well, it's not a bad thing because it's back then it was listening to folk who I now know didn't know what the FE double hockey, I mean the FE, the HE double hockey sticks they were talking about. So in the grand scheme of things, that really don't help shit. I'm just being real. I see people and they talk about it, and I'm like, if it's clogged or there's dried up like ink in there because you let it sit too long, or like if it's a backflow and there's a stoppage. Now, when it's a stoppage, I actually don't advocate for purge files unless I'm trying to purge out a color, like just that one color out of my line. But now I don't even do that. I just push air. It really don't do nothing. Like I listened to someone who said that, where when I got into printers, because you have to remember when I did Sublimation, I didn't have my own printer. I just got an in-house printer 5, maybe 6 years ago now. Like, or going on 6 or 7 years, because we've had our product line. This will be our 4th year. And then I was like, so maybe like 5, 6 years is when I got an in-house printer. I outsourced prints, like, which is why I'm always an advocate for it. So many people want to, they want to get every single printer on the market. I'm like, why? I didn't have to worry about maintenance. It's like, that's not my problem. That's not my business. I submitted printers. So if one goes down, like while that one's, being fixed, they have another printer. I didn't have these problems. I submit my prints. I go pick them up. I sublimate and I'm done. I'm good. Like sometimes I wish I could go back to that time. But I end up getting into this. Thank you, Ebony. Because I was doing a lot of stuff with pigment ink printers, and it's the exact same printer that people are using for sublimation. And she's like, oh my gosh, Shakia, they need you over here. Like, these printers. And so I end up in this group. And then I'm listening to the creator of this group. And I'm like, okay, well, they're printing in-house. They have to know what they're talking about. So I was doing that and kind of pushing for it and advocating it. And the more that I'm like now utilizing a printer in-house, I'm like, this don't make no sense. This stupid. Like this don't solve anything. Like, do you not know how printers work? This really doesn't do diddly squat. But because I'm the only person or one of the only people that say that purge files don't really do a whole lot of like, and then people are like, yes, it do. I just had to print 50. You had to print 50. You do know if you would just push air, it would have been 1, right? Like telling me that, yes, it does. It worked, but I had to print 50. That's not effective. So I'm just like, back then I listened to folk. And so now it's still on my website because it's folk that don't want to listen to me. So if you don't want to listen when I'm saying they don't work and you still want to buy, you still want to get one, I'm going to charge you for it. Now, I did a whole video showing, hey, you can do this yourself. If you know the hex codes, you can make your own. They didn't want to. So for the convenience, they wanted, I have a $2 purge file, but I don't push it. It's for the people who don't want to listen. Yeah. When you know better, you do better and you instruct better because purge files are pointless. Yeah. You lose ink, paper, you're putting more prints on your print. Like you do understand that there is a certain print cycle. If you read the fine print, there is a lifespan of these printers. The motherboard will have its own kind of like internal clock and it will clock out at some point. So if you're wasting 50 prints on the lifespan of your printer just to get a color going, and sometimes I'm talking about one color. How is that effective? But it's like, how do you go back? Some people don't watch, because I'm not in that group. Some people don't watch my content anymore. It's like the loyalty thing. So I can't really go back. I mean, from my audience, I can go back and say that, but I'm like, I think purge files are really stupid. Like for real. Like, I know some people don't like that, when I'm kind of blunt like that, but yeah, I really think purge files are, it was recommended by people who didn't know how to actually troubleshoot printers. She says, just tell me to stop doing it. So how do you get the ink going through? Sorry, I walked away. If you have a cartridge-based printer, it's very easy to do. You just push air. Like I have a video that's called push air. So that's going to force the ink through it. And that's truly going to force a lot of ink, and you're putting it's pressure and ink. They're forcing it through it. If you have a EcoTank printer, there is no option. I mean, you can try the purge file, but when there's a complete stoppage and there's like no color, no amount of purge files is going to get that going because it's not going to pull that much. You're going to have to try and open it. And then when it comes to the smaller format printers, like the set, I think 2720, 2803, and all of those, that it's not meant to be opened up. Like, so when you open up like the 8550, the 15,000, the 80, the 16600, in order to get to the ink, you have to like open it up because it's it goes, which way does it go? So this one, you can open it like this, but you have to open the whole thing. Like, it's meant to be lift up. On the small ones, you have to take all these screws out, and it's kind of weird. And it doesn't have anything to hold it in place. The 15,000, like all these other ones, it has like a little thingy majiggy to like hold it up. All the smaller ones don't. You got to find something to prop it up. And if it falls back, there's a little cable that comes out. Those really aren't meant to be opened up like that to begin with. And if that cable comes out, then your scanner doesn't work and it gives you an error every single time that you print and all this other stuff, whatever. So I don't, you have to be if you're going to open up your really, really small compact printers, you have to be very, 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 very careful, with that top and how you're propping it up. But you can't really get to those lines as easy. With the other ones, you can get to the lines, but then they also have this cage over. So you have to like unscrew that and do some other things to be able to get to it, to try and pull ink through. Like if it's a backflow, try and pull ink through. Then you're going to have to kind of create the seal. Then you're going to have to put it back on. Like like I said, people who don't know printers and, have never taken one apart, they've made recommendations that were very, very weird to me. She says, that sounds crazy. It does. It does. Oh, great question. If you had to buy a new printer now, what would it be? Unfortunately, it would be the 2000. I mean, if you wanted to do wide format, I'm not a gel-based girl. I mean, the Sawgrass is cool. I'm just not a gel-based kind of gal. Like, it's something with the colors, and with it being gel-based, you have to figure out the right settings. A lot of the times with my Sawgrass one, the way like it goes on like the paper, it's how if you have like wood grain and you tape it off, if you go and paint it, like you can see it like kind of going through. Like I feel like it does that sometimes. So I'm more of a water-based gal, which means pretty much Epson printers. For conversion purposes, it would be a 16600, 16650. That's $1,100 and basically $1,300, like respectively. So if I had to, even though I despise EcoTank, like desktop EcoTank printers. Well, okay, no, scratch that. It's not that. You have to remember that all of the other EcoTank printers are meant to use dye-based inks, not pigmented or sublimation inks, which are it's a different consistency. It's a higher density when it comes to the sublimation and pigment ink. Dye-based ink is really loose and thinned out. It's like almost like watercolors. I mean, food coloring. So with that particular printer, those particular inks, it will last a long time. I don't use dye-based inks because they run. How I got into this is for party favors and all of those things, and I prefer an ink that is water resistant, i.e. pigment ink. So all of those ones that are like a little bit more affordable, I'm not going to really, get behind those. The 16600, 16650, those are pigment ink printers. So it is less likely to clog because the sub ink and the pigment ink are of the same consistency. So I'm going to recommend that if you want to convert. And that's $1,000 printer and like about $1,300 or something like that. Or like it's like $1,229, something like that. And outside of that, it would be the Epson F570 if you're wanting to do wide format, because Epson does not have a true 13-inch sublimation printer and they'll never be able to have one. So ET 16600, 16650, or an F5 Epson SureColor F570. Have you ever had an issue with a print just like stopping in the middle of printing? Yes, couple of things. That can be a couple of things. One, your ink stops. So especially if you have a cartridge-based printer, the chips is what controls the number of prints. And once that, so you're using the converted one, once it reaches 0, it will literally just stop in the middle. You have to take it out and put that color back in or use a chip resetter. So that's one reason why it would stop. And that's kind of happened, a couple of times before. And it'll say cartridge not recognized. Your Wi-Fi, because you're doing it via Wi-Fi. If there is a break in your Wi-Fi connection, that can also cause it to stop. So those are the 2 times that I've had it where it just stops in the middle. Thank you for all these tips and the honest info. It's all the things I have been wondering. She says, well, darn, I will stop. I had the 7720. So yeah, so if you have that, so with the cartridge base, you need a chip resetter. We are out of chip resetters. You can check like Amazon, but because it's controlled by the chip, once it reaches 0 on that countdown counter and it says cartridge not recognized, it's going to stop in the middle of a print. They not my people. Them not my people. Going to buy another printer. Which one do you recommend? Oh, there goes. Same question from over there. That was that. Oh no, wait. Okay, no, that was you. That was this person. Yeah. So with the 2800, if it just stops, that's normally a Wi-Fi connection. That's normally a Wi-Fi connection because you don't have cartridges. I have a chip resetter and a set of cartridges. I believe pigment for sale if interested. So someone says they have a chip resetter. I guess, so did you get rid of that printer altogether? Did it stop working for you? You had to throw it out? I had to sneeze. It's not going to improve the print quality. That printer does not have, it's not a high quality printer. That is meant to be like, people are, okay, let me see. Do I have one? I don't think I have one near here. But the nozzle check on like a 7720 or like any of the workforce, like really any of the workforce printers, even the smaller ones, or like a 16600, the 8550 has 2 channels. Those are quality printers. They're meant to really print high quality. The print resolution on it is high. So they have 2 channels when it comes to the ink. All of the other printers, including the ET 15000, they have 1 channel of ink. You're never going to get quality images. Like it's just not going to happen. It wasn't meant for that. People are using it because of the print head, and it can be converted to sublimation, but it was never intended to be this high resolution and having a better print quality. It's never intended for that. It's like, you just needed like a little home printer and print out some documents, print out some school stuff, print out some receipts, print out, I would like to say MapQuest. Y'all remember before GPS, like trying to figure out where you need to go, and you had like all these pages from MapQuest, and to follow, like this was, after I'm one that I can read a map because I used to be the navigator in the car, and I'm like connecting it from this page to that page to this page to that page. And then we have MapQuest. Well, it would give it for you. You don't have to go through the whole map. You just have to print out like 1,000,001 pages and then just kind of have them in order so you know where you're going. So if you were still in the age of printing out MapQuest travel logs, you'll be able to use it just to print that out. But it wasn't really intended for people. Use it, and it's like it's all in these groups, and it's like use the Epson because it's heat free. Just because it's heat free doesn't mean that it was the best printer. Like, it's not the best printer in any way, shape, or form. I don't feel like anyone that's doing business really should use that one. I mean, people are going to say, well, I have a business and I do X, Y, and Z, but it's not the greatest. And it has a much shorter lifespan than some of the printers that cost a lot more. Like, it amazes me when people think you pay $200 for a printer and you think that it's really supposed to last you like 5-10 years. Like, no, you're lucky. You get a year, hey, that's amazing. If you got 2 years, dude, like, God loves you, because they're not meant to be workhorse printers. That would be photo-based printers, like the ET8500, 16600, 16650. So these are all the printers that are 900 and above. And then when it comes to workforce printers, I mean, any of the workforce ones, but the new workforce printers, I don't recommend, because you need to always change out the chip. Ooh, cartridge based, like, you really did. Like, that's the thing too, right? What's funny to me is people say like it used too much ink, right? They're used to putting like the cartridge, just pouring the ink in, like when it comes to an EcoTank printer. But if you're printing on premium matte, like, it's still printing out like the same amount of ink, but not quite. So because of that whole 2-channel thing, it's not printing out like as much ink. Like, it's just 1 channel. So it seems like it's lasting longer, but you're all like, the print quality, the resolution is also reduced. When you're printing from, let's say, you're printing from a cartridge based one, yes, you have to keep refilling the cartridges, but most of you guys were also buying 100 milliliters. Like, that's not a lot of ink. Whereas with the, let's say you have one that has the 2 channels, that thing holds 140 milliliters. Like, the tank is huge. Now, you have some that, the smaller ones, they're using 70, but you're also using only 1 channel. I think it still might be 70 I forget, for the 8550. Well, no, it's still, it might still be, it's not 140. I know the big one is 140. So I think the 8550, I think they still had 70 and 127, I think is what they had. But if you were printing premium matte, you still need to buy this ink and fill it. So when people are like, or they advertise like this is the game. They're advertising like print for like 2 years. But then people don't look at the fact that when they're saying that, they're basing that off of printing plain paper setting on 8.5 by 11. And then they have a certain print cycle, like per month. Like, you're doing no more than, let's say, 100 sheets per month, right? That's what that 2 years is based off of. It's not you can print 13 by 19. You're printing 100 sheets of 13 by 19 per day, and this is going to last you 2 years. Most people aren't looking at the fine print. It is for 8.5 by 11, plain paper setting, and then it'll tell you, like, based off of how many prints per month, this ink can stretch out to 2 years. But like, you guys are printing out more. Some people, I have people that buy cases of paper. They can go through 100 sheets like that. And that's probably like, we did the rags. We went through, how many rags did we end up doing? 300? No, 150 the first time. So like total. And then for that 150, was it 150? No, I think we went through like 3 packs of paper, almost 3. I'm trying to think, how many did she get? Was it 150 or 300? But like, we went through that in 1 day. Like, so some people are printing well over 100 sheets per day. So it's not going, like, even on with an EcoTank printer, they need bottles of ink and they're gonna fill that sucker up. So it's like, when I hear people say, but I was going through so much ink, one, you're also buying 100 milliliters. It's not a lot of ink. It's not a lot of ink. And you're using, so if you're using a 2-channel, yes, it's going to go, but they're also printing premium matte. Premium matte uses way more ink than plain paper setting. So it's like, yeah, when you really, really think about like how you're printing and stuff like that, the maintenance and like the headaches of EcoTanks, they weren't the better option. People ran away from cartridges, but it wasn't that bad. Now, so many people run away from the cartridges and they get the EcoTank printers, and now it's a big paperweight. I think some people still do use MapQuest, but I don't know if like they're printing them out like that. So you can't push air on all types of cartridges. So you can't push air on all types of cartridges, but yes, you can push air on the refillable. Yeah. So the true Epson ones, you cannot push air on that, but the refillable ones you can. Incredible afternoon. You're very welcome. Hello. My 7210 is still running strong. I love it. Incredible greetings. I'm not sure for sure it was a workforce. So yeah, I mean the 3640, I mean, you refilling with a bunch of those, and it's like that's a 2-channel one. And if you're using premium matte, yeah, you're going to go through your ink really fast using premium matte. I feel so bad because my husband brought me 2 sets of those other people's ink and I refused to use it. He waited too long and now he can't get a refund. Oh. This topic addressed a lot of printer problems I've been experiencing for a month. Nothing but pure headaches. This is helpful. Yay. Glad to be of help. So over here, someone had, okay, all I see is Sublimation Designs. I'm not sure what the other question was, or like if you did something and it didn't come through. So what does it say? Danielle, it just says Sublimation Designs. So what question do you have about Sublimation Designs? He thought he was surprising me, but he didn't realize I had switched to your ink years ago. We got to get him on point. So a lot of the information, why you keep calling them my people? Very much so. Very much so. Very much so. Technically, yes. So the 3640 is just an 8.5-inch version of the 7720. So when you're looking at the specs, you're looking at what's the max resolution on that. When you go and you do like the print head, the nozzle check, it's going to be 2 channels. So it prints the same exact quality as the workforce printers, just in a smaller, smaller size. To make my people. That's them people. That's their people. That's not my people. But yeah, I mean, it was a lot of misinformation, and that was part of the problem. Kathy, I'm not going there with you. I'm not on this good black on this. I'm calling it Black Friday. All technically all of the Fridays. Look, I'm about to do something different. All of the Fridays of Black History Month is technically Black Friday. So we're not about to do this on this good old second day of Black History Month, i.e. Black Friday. We're not about to do this on the first Black Friday of the year. Nah, I'm not messing with you today. I'm not about to mess with you today. And it was the crazy, like the thing is, even though it's been sitting in there, you have those cartridges, you literally push air and it will be back working. I had so many people who end up getting those and they found them like in thrift stores and stuff like that. They follow the push air. So whether you get a set of cartridges and you put the cleaning solution in there, so you can do that and put the cleaning solution in, or you can even, change out the print head. It's not that complicated to change out the print head. but most, as so many people, they've done the push air, whether it's with the cleaning solution or just with the regular ink, and it's back working. That's why I love cartridge-based printers, which is why it's so heartbreaking that they came out with the 7820, 7840, and 7310, because those are the worst printers ever. I really think, like, to be honest, I really think Epson made that printer just suck because they want people to switch over because it's easier for them. They don't have to worry about replacing a bunch of printers because they know that a good majority of people who are buying these printers, they're using them for sublimation. They're using them for eco solvent ink. To put eco solvent ink in. They know that people are not buying, like, their printers are not flying off the shelves due to people using them for regular projects. This they know. Trust me, they know this. But when it was cartridge based, people can use these printers, they end up messing up, and they have this thing of, you void your warranty if you're using a third party ink. Yes, you get that warning on there, but they're not going to know that until they get the printer. And normally once you send it off and they know it's on the way, you were getting like they were sending the replacement out, or they would, just release your card. They're not going to charge your card again. Well, with the EcoTank printers, they don't even have to go through this. The rep will say, send me a picture of the front of your printer. As soon as they see color, they know that you've converted it. They don't have nothing else to say to you. So Epson is not getting all of these returns on printers. So this is better for their bottom line. These are also printers that, because it's a single channel, it's going to take less to manufacture them. It doesn't take as much to manufacture a lower quality printer than it does a quality printer like the Workforce or all the cartridge base. Boom, they're cutting their cost. These printers have a shorter life cycle. You're going to need to buy another one. More money for them, and I'm like, I think they really kind of sort of want to go to all EcoTank printers. But at the same time, you got some folk like me that I'm like, dude, I'm not buying an EcoTank printer. And then you have the EcoTank printers that are quality. They're charging you 3 times the amount of a cartridge-based printer. The EcoTank equivalent of the 7720s was the 16. Well, like back then it was like the 15. No, we have 16600. So it was like a 15600 or something like that, and it was $1,000. But the 7720 was 299. So that's a big jump, like just to get the EcoTank version of it. So they're charging more for it, but it does, like you have to pay more for the EcoTank version because you're getting you 2 years, but it's based off of a certain cycle. So they're very smart. Like, I, as a business person, I love it. Like, thinking on a CEO level, I'm here with them. I can't hate on you, because from a CEO perspective, that was the right move. From a consumer perspective, I'm like, ooh, y'all nasty some of my, yeah. But they're smart. They were definitely smart in how they did those printers. What is the best way to transfer ink from the bottles to the refill? Which syringe do you like best? What do you mean? To the refillable cartridges? Which syringe do I like best? We sell syringes too, and needles. We have 100. We have 20 milliliter. Look, them people, Kathy's people, and all them other folk, because it's cheaper that way. They're gonna get like the really cheap 10 millimeter ones. We sell 20 and 30, and our needle is a wide mouth. It's not super thin. It's a bigger gauge. And then, so which ones I like best, honestly speaking, baby, we got all the juice, okay? We got all the good stuff that you need. Are they easy to change from pigment to sublimation? Because I believe I used to, oh yeah. It's the easiest. You're going to take your sublimation cartridges. Your cartridges are filled with sublimation ink. You're going to put them in your printer. You're going to do a print head cleaning. One. Not the, because you're converting it over, you're supposed to have breaks. No, you're just putting a new cartridge in. Now that's one thing. I did not drink of the Kool-Aid. I was like, that don't make no sense. And when I did I did feel bad. I did feel bad because they were saying this to people. And I'm a live person. Like, I don't pre-record, I don't edit-ish. So I went live converting I had a 3640. I went live converting it. One print head. Like, why are we doing a bunch of these? And then I realized, oh, you didn't set the cartridge up correctly. It's okay. Takes one. As long as you have the kind that we sell with the hole in the middle, you prime it, which we have videos on how to prime it. You put it in there, one print head cleaning, and you're done. If you want to be, so you'll do, well, it's technically it's two, because once you change it, even if you go to print, it's going to automatically do a print head cleaning anyway. Or like when you close it, it's going to go through, it's going to say initializing. Initializing is nothing more than a print head cleaning. Then you want to do like another one to flush it out. And I promise you, if you print that out and sub and press it, it's going to sub. Like, it's one print head cleaning. You don't get all them breaks. I recommend, so when you're saying it had pigment ink in it, when I set mine up, I don't go straight to the sublimation cartridges. I put the Epson cartridges in there. How are you going to know if it's an issue with your cartridges, like the refillable ones, or if it's an issue with the printer if you don't start? So eco tanks are different. Like, all you need is like ink to flow through, but there's a chip there for cartridge base. So I literally set it up with the Epson cartridges, which is pigment ink. And then once it's done, I have everything. I print out my nozzle check. I make sure that the Wi-Fi is working, all that stuff. So I print out the Wi-Fi sheet. I print out a nozzle check. Everything is copacetic, is working. Ink cartridge replacement, take those out, take the door off, put the refillables in, let it do initializing, then print head cleaning, and I'm off to the races. So any refillable cartridge, because it has all refillable cartridges are made the exact same way. This is your vent hole. So while it's in your printer, you do ink cartridge replacement. You're going to watch the video. You do ink cartridge replacement. You're going to move it over a paper towel. You're going to take this is what, cyan. You're going to pull your plunger up. You're going to put it into the vent hole, and you're going to push down. And you want to have a paper towel because it may bubble back up. And you're just going to dab it, and that's it. So all of them have that. It doesn't matter where this is. It's always your fill hole is whatever's not to the back. The furthest one to the back is always your vent hole. Your fill hole for some brands may be here. Some brands, it might be up here. But the one that's furthest to the back, opposite of the chip, is your vent. And you just go like this, push it down. It'll pop back up because of the air pressure, because it's going to be in the printer. Oh, look, see? And here I am. I said, have a paper towel, and look at me. I didn't have a paper towel. I said have a paper towel, and I didn't. Do as I say, not as I just did. I think that was more so the reason why people wanted to get away from cartridges, because they weren't sold. Now, if I could go back, right? If they were still popular and they were still being manufactured, I would have actually just had pre-filled cartridges, like they would have looked like black, whatever. But I just would have had pre-filled cartridges with sublimation ink in it, and people would treat it the same way that they would do a regular cartridge. I mean, it's a waste because you can refill, like you can, reset these. So that would have, those are better. It's more economical. But I think that's what people wanted to get away from when they went to EcoTank printers, was not having the mess of the ink. But I'd rather deal with that to have a better quality printer than the EcoTank printers any day. I remember way back when. I'm so proud of you. Feel very fortunate to have you in our lives. Need you and Gucci back online together. Hey. I got an Epson 7720 from an auction for $50, $50. Woohoo. Backup, or having a rotation. Yep. Wait, you change from one to another yeah. I got like 3 videos live, no editing, live. And I literally set it up, put them in there, and boom, bam, done. I hear Kenmore and LG is in a lawsuit over the fridge. Having a linear compressor that makes it cold in the newer models, and they last only 2 years versus 20 years in the older one. Yeah, like they will do that. They give you less and it's subpar stuff for more money. What workforce do you suggest for party favors and such? Don't want to spend the EcoTank price. I want to be able to print larger. There really isn't one. Like, to be honest, there isn't one, because the work for Epson has like one set of printers. They have the 7820, 7840, and 7310. The way that they were made, I mean, if you want to just buy their cartridges, you can do that route. So if you're looking for like a economical option, like the old school workforce where you can put pigment ink in there and kind of use that, there is none. So you can get the 7820, 7840, or 7310, but it's going to be best that you use the Epson cartridges. Although, like, here's the downside: their black ink smears, and if you put it on glossy, it scratches off. I don't know what the heck they did with their pigment ink, but the last time, when I first set them up, I don't know if they've maybe changed their black ink since then, but it smears really, really bad. Even once you print, if you were to take your hand across, it's going to smear, and on glossy, it just scrapes off. Like, it's horrible. So for that reason, I was like, okay, yeah, don't use this. And I know, like, Miss Cheryl, she liked it because she like our refillable cartridges and having the chips, because she could use our pigment ink and it doesn't do that. But we no longer sell the chips. So you take the chance of your black ink smearing, or if you're going to do anything glossy photo paper for your chip bags, the labels for Capri Suns, it's going to basically just scrape off. So there's really no workforce option that's like just straight up. If anything, it's going to be the EcoTank, where you're going to pay $1,000. The ones that didn't have the linear compressors were good, so they ruined them by putting these in. Yeah, that's crazy. One more question. In my extended settings, it allows for ICM color matching. What does that mean? So if you're using Silhouette Studio, it means absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Now, if you're using Photoshop, I mean, it just means that it can, you can use profiles, and it's made to like where it will, switch to like the profiles. But for the most part, it doesn't even matter. You don't need that. You don't have to worry about that setting. I brought you refillable cartridges because I can't get chips anymore. Do the chips come off? Yes, they do. It's the same thing. Just slide them off. Which Epson replacement printer for the 770 that you are suggesting? Oh, I'm not suggesting it at all. I can't stand them. So the replacement for the 7720 is the 7820. I'm not recommending them. They're horrible. I'm not suggesting them. I'm just saying what the numbers are, but they are not a suggestion or a recommendation. Yeah, unfortunately, they're horrible, horrible. Um, the printer game has changed so much. Like it's expensive now. It's not like it was, you know, even just like kind of like before the pandemic. So this change started to happen even before the pandemic, but after that, of course, it got really, really bad. And we created that. Like we created this dynamic. Now Canon, but the one that I want is still kind of pricey. It's like they have one and it's $1,000, and then there's another one that is, how much is that printer? So Canon now has a pigment based printer that I want. Uh the Image Pro. I want one of, they have a couple different models of that. So you have Canon printers, but they're still very pricey. And they still work off cartridges, and the cartridges can be expensive, but because it has so many colors that will help print it out. The more cartridges, it's still the longer it will last, because you're not reaching all of your color ranges from just 4 colors. So when you have all these different colors, your ink stretches out a little bit more. And them cartridges are pricey, but like that's one of the ones that I kind of want. HP started to do like okay, because their office jet ones are, believe most of their office jet ones are pigment ink. So how do you, okay, if you want to easily know if you have a printer that has pigment ink in it, print it out and put it underwater and see if it runs at all. Even if it like blurs a little bit, because some of the, like the 8550, they have a photo black. That is a pigment ink, but it's not everything's not going to get black in it, right? Because you can't put black if you have like, bright colors. So you put it on there, it may not like completely run, but you'll probably see your edges blur a little bit. That's how you know it's not a pigment ink printer. She says my HP is pigment ink. Yeah, try to, with your 7720, talk to it, have be very, very nice to it, because once it goes out, there's no other printer like it, and you're not going to like any of the other options. You're not going to like the other options. So be kind to your 7720. My mom has a 7720 that has not been broken in yet. Not sure if I want to use it as a backup for sublimation or regular prints. I mean, if you're trying to be heavy on party favors, I mean, I would say use it for regular print, for pigment ink prints, for regular printing. I think I have one more. I'm so mad. I wanted to keep that one, but I haven't been doing a lot of regular printing because we have the paper line. So I'm always trying to do something that's promoting the sublimation paper. Now, if we ever get like photo paper, glossy paper, stuff like that, then of course I definitely need to then promote our ink more. But I'm always trying to push the paper. I don't really care about the ink, because I mean, you can really use our paper with any ink. So I'm always trying to push the paper. So I do more of that. And the 7720 that we have here, I wanted to keep that one to put to use as a pigment ink printer, but I got to now use it for sublimation. All right, over here, they have definitely suppressed the video. It's no one really on, so I'm going to end this live. We're still going kind of strong over here on Facebook and YouTube, so I'm going to keep this one up, but over here, it's tanked. So I'm going to end this one over here, right, y'all? Peace. So, what type of content or classes would you guys like to see from the professor? Oh, I just realized I never changed the title of that live. It still said 20-minute shirt from earlier today. Okay. All right, if there are no questions over here, I will go ahead and end this live video, or no responses to what type of content or classes or trainings would you guys like for us to consider for the new year? Well, not for the new year, for 2024. We are definitely past the new year. For 2024. And that's the part that, like, that's why I'm always doing just Q&A, because I'm like, I feel like I've done so many like video, like I have a full library of things. If I'm doing something, it's just me, it's doing it just to do it. But I don't think there's anything that I haven't really done. And that's always my struggle, is feeling like I've done everything. I'm not big on rhinestones. I have some, but I'm not big on rhinestones. So I'm definitely not the channel or the platform for that. Sorry. Like, that's like a once in a blue moon thing for me. Ew. Ew. That's nasty. You stay right there. Yeah, I'm not really big on like rhinestones. One, them cutting all those holes. I have a class, like, I do rhinestones in the 30-day. I just show like how to set them. But I know some people love like rhinestones. Um, I've done like individually placed, like I've what they used to call like bedazzling stuff, but doing like the full on what's the names, it's just, yeah, I'm one, I'm not big on bling. I don't do a lot of those shirts even for customers. Um, and the time that it takes to cut out all those circles and all that stuff, and then brushing them in, flipping them, it's, yeah, that's just not for me. They were nasty. I was hoping that these would taste more like the cheese nips, but these is nasty. These are nasty. These are going back. I got to find my receipt. I need to switch this out for regular cheese nips, because this is not the move. But of course I do. So, of course, just the kind of the look of it. Um, they end up creating this for a couple of different, like, they end up creating the five different from the four for a couple of reasons. One, the ability to cut with an electrostatic mat. That is not something that is included. It is an additional component that you have to purchase, but they have that now, right? So it allows you to cut matless, but it's not matless because it's an electrostatic mat. That is the mat. And you still have to kind of make sure that you don't cut into that little piece that goes on top. So you have to replace that. So there is a mat there. It's just not sticky. So it's electrostatic. So being able to do that without a sticky mat. They added for the second blade carriage, it's powered. So instead of having the foil quills, which you had to plug into a USB port, like a separate one to power it, they now have one where you put it there and it's a special, tool. You put it there and you can do foiling with it. So that's powered. With the 4, they took away the ability to do repeat job. They brought that back. And it's supposed to be quieter. Other than that, how it cuts is exact same way. I don't really care for the design of it. When you think I think they made it too much, like thinking that everyone would use either the auto feeder or use the electrostatic mat, because how they have it set up, there's like a bar in the front and it's to the front. So if you're just using a regular mat, and I have to kind of sometimes put it on there and I hold it in place to load it in to make sure. You can't do that because there is a bar there. I dislike that feature and how they constructed it. I get it. They had to make sure that it worked with the electrostatic mat, because that's like their whole thing, like being revolutionary with that whole thing of a non-sticky mat. But yeah, that's really it. It's the heated like the power tools, the electrostatic mat, and they brought back the repeat job and changed the look. That's really, like, in a nutshell, it's really it. I also have an older pigment ink printer, Epson. Ooh, you do. That's a really old one. The 7510. I would like to use HS ink, but I have not done any research on refilling the cartridges. So we don't sell the cartridges for that. That model actually uses a different ink cartridge. It doesn't use the 252s. So we don't have the proper chips. The cartridge looks the same size, but ours are a 252 chip. So we don't have that. Now, the pigment ink, as long as you can find the proper refillable cartridge, you can put our pigment ink in it, but you still have to find the refillables. I'm sorry, Professor. I thought you were going to take the features of Silhouette Studio one by one. Therefore, I don't know what questions to ask. What do you mean? Oh, what you mean? I thought you were going to take the features of Silhouette Studio one by one. Therefore, I don't know what questions to ask. I'm not sure. I mean, I do that in Essentials, but here, if you had questions, I have no problem answering them. What about pillows? I've only done a few I've done a few pillows, so I guess I could figure out a design to be able to kind of put on the pillow. That's a good one. I have a couple of them here. How to stay on track, organized, motivated as a busy mom and a businesswoman. When you figure it out, let me know, because it's by force. I'm being very, like, I don't know, for me, maybe it's a little bit different because I'm not doing, I still do the creations and I still produce products and things like that. I still provide custom services, but it's not my everyday thing, right? I know that I have made, like, I've actively made money and good money and still make money doing this, right? I didn't go to where I just stopped and I'm like just teaching. Like, I can go, like, just finish a couple orders. One of the last ones I did, she ordered 4 fans, 4 smaller fans and a large one. She came back and said, "Hey, can I get 4 more?" Right? Then she showed them, some folks are mad at me. Can I get 4? And then she wrote right back and said, "Let's make it 6." So I'm still actively selling. Grad season, yard signs. I'm always doing, like, top of the year. I'm doing tumblers. So I still actively do it. And when I was doing that one, it wasn't hard to stay motivated because, like, I'm always doing things. It was like getting past some of the creative blocks. And that's because I was a fool in trying to always come up with something, like, new. And it's only so many, like so much that your brain can process at once. So when I have 5, 6, 10 different clients and they're all wanting something different, that was the biggest struggle, is trying to like be a little bit different with all the designs. I learned to, hey, we ain't got time for that. Y'all gonna get this, and I'm probably gonna switch out 1 or 2 things, but these are pretty much gonna look the same, especially during grad season. That's why I end up creating my templates, because who got time for that? Y'all, I don't care if y'all go to the same school, y'all all about to get the same one. Now, the only thing that I think I do differently, because it's a competition for it, is always trying to come up with something different when it comes to senior crowns. Now, that's something, if like, one, I only take like no more than 5 students from the same school, because for me to try and think of 5 totally different designs for that one school, hell no. So for crowns, I'm only going to do 5 from, like, once I hit that, if somebody saw your crown, oh my God, I love it, and you're number 6, sorry, I can't do your crown for you, because I am not about to try and fix my brain to try and figure out a whole other design, because y'all have a whole competition on this. Like, so yeah, those, it's kind of hard. But fans, I'm about to throw all y'all kids on these. You pick which one you want. I mock them up with all the ones I have. Pick which one you want. That part wasn't hard to stay like motivated. It's when I had to do all the custom ones, and it wasn't a matter of staying like motivated. It's frustration sits in when I feel like I'm having a creative block, and I have to force myself to kind of push past it. Now, with the way that this business is, it's being motivated to kind of come live when you feel like people come on and you're it's like me teaching. I am grateful for the students that I have in Essentials this go around. The first time, it was actually not that bad either. But some of the classes that I've had, like in between, like in the past 2 years, we're in there and it's like radio silence. It's like no one's saying anything. There's no engagement. And that's very frustrating. It was really hard for me to stay motivated, because I'm like, okay, I can't gauge if they're enjoying the content. And I get it. Some people say, well, I have no questions, because you've answered, like, you go into detail. You've answered any possible question that I think I may have had. Then it's like trying to figure, okay, so it's not necessarily like them asking questions, but giving me some type of like feedback. I'll tell them now, like, unmute, like, talk to me. Let me know, how's this making you feel? It's almost like therapy. Let me know, how does this make you feel? What did you think about that? Like, so it's not a question, but give me some feedback. And this crew that I have that's coming to the live sessions, they do that. Like, there's never a moment, like too many times, where it's like nothing. So I'm kind of in my good element to where I really do stay motivated. Where I lose motivation is really these live videos, which is why I'm like, hey, I'll come on when I come on. It's frustrating on TikTok, but I'm trying to build over there because it's a new platform for me. YouTube and Facebook, I've been doing this for 9 years. So when I come on and the numbers aren't numbering, no one's engaging, no matter what time of day. Y'all say, well, it's because I'm at work. I've sacrificed going home to my family, and I stay here in the evening, and it's still no one saying anything. So this, for me, is very hard to stay motivated for teaching and coming on and wanting to help and share. I'm like, no one wants to help. I'm gonna figure this out on my own. Like, I'm always seeing this in groups and from people, and I'm like, but I'm on. Now, I don't know if that they're looking for someone to give up their time, get on a personal call with them and teach them, and they don't want to ask, on here. Or I get people, they want to come in my inbox, and sometimes they'll ask a question in the inbox. I go live so that you can ask your question publicly, and that might get people going, and it'll help other people. Then it's like they're nowhere to be found. I even send them the link, so they can't say I did not see it or whatever. I send them the link. They come on, they don't say anything. It's like they want me to help them, like be their personal instructor. You don't want to call. I cannot do that. Like, I run a business, and especially if you're not trying to pay my hourly wage, I can go and do a class with 25 people. If my, whatever my time is, if I feel like I'm worth $100 an hour, if I do a class for 25 people, for $25, if I get 4 people, I've technically made my $100 an hour. For $500 an hour, whatever it is. So I prefer to do classes. When I come on here, I'm not making any money. YouTube don't pay like that. Like I don't have this high rate where, you know, like some people are, they have was it RPM of like 30, 40, $30, $40. Mine ain't that high because I don't get engagement. People watch my content, they learn from it, they barely like it, they don't comment. So I'm not getting, you know, those numbers. So this is hard for me to kind of stay motivated, and like I'm away from my kids, I'm away from my family. But I have to keep doing it because it's, you know, it's our company. Like we don't have an outside, like I don't have an outside job. I'm not doing this in conjunction with a 9 to 5 or a corporate job. I do this 24/7. I'm either teaching, I'm on live trying to gain new followers. Oh, there we go. Trying to get more traffic. So I have to be present online, but this is a struggle sometimes. Like it's I have to just remind myself of why I do it. And it's like, if you don't go live and you don't get new followers, then you're not going to make, you know, you're not going to reach your sales goals. So money is a motivator. Like I have bills. I have to get out here and just like, hey, this is who I am. Join a class. This is cool. You know, get engagement. I like engagement. I like for you to share. Introduce me to your people, some new folk. Don't be stingy with, you know, with the knowledge that you get over here, and don't be stingy with the professor. You know, share me out, slut me out. It's okay. Pass me around to all of your friends. I'm good with that. But I know that I have a son that has epilepsy. You know, his medicine is $55 a pop, and he has to take it every single month. And that's my motivator. Like there are days where I don't want to. Like I've gotten on here, migraine. Hell, I did a whole live video in the middle of a heart attack. So I really don't have like, I'm definitely not organized. Me organized, which is why I've, you know, embraced having an assistant, which, you know, we're still working on it because I have some emails that still have not gone out that she has reminded me of, and they still haven't gone out. I'm a work in progress. So I may not be the person to help you fully stay on track and stay organized or motivated because I'm not always motivated. I get motivated for my classes. Now that when I'm about to teach, I get super excited about teaching until I get in class and no one says anything. My mama gave me a bedazzler and a bow maker. Also loving the beginner stage, learning silhouette and trying to choose a cutter. Who needs a cutter or who doesn't? Ooh, Mandy, you are coming with the good questions. I like this one. We're gonna come back to this. Let me look at some of these other ones that are probably like really easy to answer. Yo, I feel like I really feel like that needs to be, it's like, man, I really feel like, I mean, like, because no one's probably going to get to that part because we're 2 hours in. I think that needs to be a separate video. High five, high five. Ooh, ooh. I like that one. I don't think anyone's ever asked that question like that. Ooh. Hey, can you screenshot that? She knows who I'm talking to. We got to get together and I got to figure out how we're going to. Can you screenshot to remind me, please? Thanks. Ooh. I hate to move away from it, but I feel like it would be a waste. I'm gonna do a little bit, but I think that that would be a really good like dedicated video because I got a whole bunch of them. Got a bunch of cutters. Ooh, please screenshot that and put that for my to-do list that I barely do. But this one I'm gonna do. I might not send them emails you reminded me about, but I'm gonna remember to schedule this one. Which is better in your the I have the Pro is collecting dust as it should. Can I still use a mat with the 5? Yes. So it's just it doesn't come with the electrostatic mat. It still uses mats. So that's an additional piece that you have to purchase for $125 and it's small. So like for me, I do like my main paper is 11 by 17. 8.5 by 11 is normally like my recollections cardstock, but a lot of my like papers is like 11 by 17 and higher. I can't use that little electrostatic mat. I think it's made for just 12 by 12, I think, or maybe even smaller than that. It might be for like 8.5 by, it might be 12 by 12. So that doesn't appeal to me. It's not something that I was like, oh, okay. I really, really want that, but it definitely still uses a regular mat. Hello there. When you started, how'd you get over creative blocks? I still have creative blocks. Um, so a couple of things. One, I do try to force myself to like walk away if time permits. Um, and if time doesn't permit, I literally put any and everything on the screen and until something sticks. I don't get stuck on one thing. Like I will do something that's complete, like it seems completely off the wall and like it doesn't connect. But a lot of times it will help because I'm at this point not stuck on, I wanted it to look like this. I can't find it. Like, damn it, damn it, damn it. When I go and I break that, like, it's like almost like being in a trance, and you break that by adding something completely off the wall. Like, bring in animal print and try and like put that on there. And it's not that you may use that, but it's going to break like this trance that you're in and you're stuck on this, and it'll kind of like, reset your brain. So that's kind of what I do a lot of times when I'm in a creative block is I just create. The best way to get past a creative block is just to create, and don't have to like know that you don't have to create for it to make sense. Make sense? Most of my designs now are rectangular, solid like comic book art, but thinking of maybe branching out to the cutter and more varied designs and media. I would love to see, like, when you say that, so either email it to me, or if you're on Facebook, like inbox me, because I want to kind of see what you do, and then I can, kind of go from there. But I need to really see. I mean, I know you're saying like more like rectangular, but still don't understand. Like, well, I'm not visualizing like what all you actually do. Engagement helps a lot. Like, even if it's, thank you for that, or that's good, like any type of comment, like if I'm giving out information and it resonates with you, any type of comment technically does help. Even on the playbacks, it helps. Liking the video, sharing it out. If you're on Facebook, tagging a friend, engagement helps. Oh, we get a little rating. It tells you if you have a happy face, it's like a yellow one, or like a green, it's like really, really cheesing for what your engagement is. And that determines like if they're going to keep pushing it out. You have to remember these platforms, they want content that's going to keep people on their platforms. If your content is not keeping people on the platform, they're going to basically suppress your content. No, not yet, because I'm doing it a little bit different this time. I didn't know you were going live. I check YouTube several times a day, so just happened to catch you. I really wish I could. I don't know why it sends out notifications for some and not all. I mean, make sure that you do have, like, you click on that bell and make sure that it does say all. That's supposed to give notification. But if you have that, I'm not sure. Now you just have to click the bell and drop down to all notifications. Yeah. Have you done a Bing? I can't stand AI, to be honest with you. I'm not going to say that. Let me stop saying that. It's not that, because this little peacock here, she's from AI, so I'm not going to say that. But how most people use it, I'm not big on AI. I'm definitely not. LaDonna, her name is LaDonna Law on Facebook. She does great with like the AI. I think she uses the Chat GPT one. I've used it for some things, more so for my business, but like to create designs for others, I don't really do that. So I'm definitely not the AI person. That may hurt me, because I mean, everyone wants to kind of do AI, but I'm just not that AI person. That's dedication. I don't know what, when I was talking about like breaking out of your concentrate, like doing something to kind of break out of it. So today I'll show you It wasn't, so sometimes I guess it's not a creative block. It's like, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but I was doing a shirt for Zani Mani today. I gotta hold on. Let me put y'all over here. Ooh, I need to go eat. Present, share screen, entire screen. So I was, oh wait, y'all can't see nothing. Y'all still see me. There we go. So I was like making this for Zani Mani, and it's for 100 days of school. And so it wasn't necessary. So it's supposed to be, you know, Bluey is the one and then 00. And I didn't want it to look like this per se. But I wanted the feel of that. So we did have this one. Because that was closer to this, although this is like not connected. I really didn't have time to try and find a better font. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to settle on this one. But of course, this is all separate. It's not really meant to be script. And that was driving me nuts, right? So it's like, man, like it was time crunch. Like this was like a time crunch situation. I was trying to get it, you know, before he went to lunch. My goal was to do it in like 20 to 30 minutes and have it to him by like 9. I was an hour behind. It was like 10 o'clock by the time I got it to him. But I was stuck on this for a really, really long time. And then I remembered I had another file which is not open. And that's where I got these letters from, because I created these a while ago. Let me see. Recent layered bubble letters. So I made these a while ago. And I had to, like, when I say I was stuck, you can ask those who were on TikTok. I was stuck. I'm like moving it around, couldn't figure it out. Even with this, right? I'm like, man, I don't like the way that this font is set up. Like the way this font is set up. I'm gonna go to lowercase. It's supposed to be like the paper that the kids use, like the line paper. But I don't understand why they have it where it's writing in the middle. Technically, I just realized why I was tripping on this. And I couldn't. I tell you, I could not wrap my head around. Oh, wait, you know what? I think I did realize it. So this was throwing me off because I'm like, why is this like line up here and then this like line at the bottom just seems so random? Hold on. Because even if you do the uppercase S, it's like up here. What the heck was this line for? I'm like, it's normally 3 lines. And I'm like, why do we have this? It was driving me absolutely nuts. I could not figure it out. And I just said, you know what? Wait a minute. Let's go ahead and recreate it. Like embracing that when things, sometimes you have these blocks because you're trying to force your brain to like accept what's like, and it's like in your mind, you're like, your brain is like, this don't make no sense. And the other part of your brain is like, yes, it do. We can make it work. And it's like, you're battling this. And I was like, this don't make no sense. It looks stupid. And I was literally saying this on TikTok. I'm like, this is, so I had to, this comes in a font that has the lines and without. So I typed it out with the font that like, so this is just by itself. Oh, well, hold on. So this, I was able to type out and I made my own lines. If I did it this way, the other part that was bugging me was the colors. because it was all technically one color. So it's like, just recreate it, right? Instead of trying to make that work, recreate it. And our minds are like, oh, that's going to take so much time. I have to do this, I have to do that. But you're still not going to love it. You're going to be in this creative block because you're trying to sometimes rush it. Or you feel like, oh, if I take this extra step, oh, it's going to make this longer. Sometimes it's better to just do the extra steps, take the extra time. Because it was just blocks, but I just could not get past it. I was like, this ain't working for me. And then this just did it. When I switched over, I'm like, okay. Then I was like, because how it was set up before, I was like, oh my God, this negative space is driving me crazy. I was like, because originally Bluey was a little bit smaller. And with the way that it was like this negative space, it was driving me crazy. Someone did say a pencil. Luckily, I was live. I've mentioned this in a live video before. Sometimes you'll get stuck and you think that it's not great. Show it to somebody else. Let somebody else give you some sort of feedback or suggestion, but you have to be open to at least consider. And at least when they do it, like, let me tell you what's going to happen sometimes. This happens to me all the time. Someone will make a suggestion. Sometimes I can't hide my face. I'm horrible at hiding my expressions. I talk with my face. I talk with my hands. So they'll do it, and my face will be like, but what that did, it still, even though I think that it's a foolish idea, it still will knock me out of my thought process. And now I have to be open to thinking about it in a different way, because you've now made I'm like looking at this, and like you told me this, I'm looking at you like, the hell? But the moment I do that, I may not, because someone was saying, if you were on the live, my bad, because you couldn't see my expression. I'm now it's like I got to keep it real, right? So somebody was like, confetti, stars, and something else. And I was like, the hell about this design screams that's the problem. Y'all be throwing anything on stuff. I'm like, that doesn't fit this. So it's like, if y'all could have seen the face that I gave, I was like, confetti, stars, the hell they got to do with this? My bad. If you were the person that was on there and you made the suggestion, my bad. Sorry. But I was like, and then I think someone said, or was I already doing it? I don't remember the order. I got to watch the video. But I was like, okay, I know I have something that has like, I think I was already on that thought process of like pencil or crayon or color pencil, because the words are there. So I'm like, it's something that needs to match. So I wanted to put a pencil there. And then I got stuck in, I'm very big on styles matching. And okay, I'm going to use this as an example. Hold on. So I could not find the pencil that I had, that I know that was vector. This, although they are PNGs, they're really like they're vector images. They're not kind of like the 3D and having all the shadow and stuff like that. So I didn't want to use when I typed in pencil, the one that came up, I'm like, damn it, this isn't going to work like this. It still doesn't match. I don't like ish that doesn't match. Like they're just totally different styles, right? So that kind of had me, and I'm like, I really want to put this pencil here. Do I really want to look for another pencil? I want to go through. I know I have a pencil. I did it for a little bit. I kind of scanned through, look for, I didn't see it. Man, bump it. Let me just go ahead and make it from scratch. So I'm going to show you like here, right? So the pencil was, And so then I was like, okay, now I have to make this look like a vector. So I did that earlier today. Oh, wait. So I'm going to, so this is the way the pencil was, the one that I could find, which is probably already over here. But this drove me nuts because it doesn't match this at all. Like, in my mind, I'm like, if I had to put it in his hand, that's two different styles. That don't match. Even though it's like it was originally made as a vector file, I can tell, this was made in a vector program. Everything has outlines, even the design in the back. The mountains are outlined. Like wherever there's color separation, like there is an outline. So to have this pencil that has no outline, I was like, I cannot do this. Like it was driving me absolutely bonkers. And I'm like, okay, I have to. So I ended up, let me see, is the original picture. So I had this one, but it kind of sort of matches. It's line art, but it's the wrong color. Like I didn't want to necessarily put this, here. But if I just change the color, it's going to change everything. And where's the blue section? I didn't want my eraser blue. I didn't want this blue. I could have gone in and did like isolated this and left it the same color. I could have done a whole lot of things, but it still wasn't the same color. I think I like vector better because I know that I can completely color match. When you're doing things and you're just changing the hue and stuff like that, it's really hard to have an exact color match. So I'm like, So I end up tracing it and making it completely fit. So these are not, even though it's line art and there is an outline around it, it's not one solid color. This is made in a style to where when the color changes, the outline changes. So I had to go through the whole process of making the area around the eraser pink, the area around the middle part of the pencil gray, putting the blue around it, this is what I'm always saying, like, what type of designer do you want to be? Because that's a big difference in using something like this or trying to get it to match, or using a pencil like this. Like I can, that would look like it was a part of the original illustration. Am I making sense? I don't know if I'm making sense or not to y'all, but this is what I went through this morning, and kind of having that block because I couldn't find the right images, but I just kept pressing forward. Like I just kept looking for different elements. Look at how, like, when I'm designing, I don't ever use one font. I'm not going to use them all, of course, but I'm always typing my words out. I type them out in all caps. I type them out in all lowercase. I type them out in correct case. And I will go through and apply different fonts. When we were doing the days, this particular font has like 7 different versions. So I'm literally going through the different versions, looking at the different letters that are there. And it's a combination. This is a combination of 3 different styles of that one font. So like here, I'm going to show this. This is like one of the, I'm always seeing this and it drives me absolutely berserk. It drives me berserk because you have this one that's like a watercolor and it looks more realistic. Then you have this that is very much so an illustration of a zebra. And although this is an illustration of a of a lion, it's a different style than this one. They still don't match because this has a defined outline. You can tell because when you get to the white, this has a black stroke all the way around it. Whereas when you come over here, is it an illustration? Yes. But the strokes around it matches the color that's there. So it's a different style. That drives me nuts when I see them mixed together. But if you were in a block, I would say, okay, just go ahead, even though it's not the right one, and like it'll probably help you figure it out. Like maybe you'll end up looking at it and you have these 3 different ones. You're like, you know what? I kind of like this style. I've mixed all these in. I really like this style. So now I'm going to look for a giraffe. I'm going to look for a zebra that matches the style of the lion. So that's breaking that creative block, because you're like, man, I can't figure out what to do. So, when you try just a bunch of different things, it will help kind of break that. And now you know what images to look for. So like in the middle here, you have Mickey and Minnie. Actually, it's 5 different styles here, because these aren't even the same. And I have these as safari animals. So I know the different ways that they're kind of set up. Although this one they both have shadowing, this is different. Like this is supposed to be more like 3D. This is totally different in the shadowing. Then you have line art for Goofy and Donald. And although Pluto is line art, they're made with gradients. This is solid colors. And they have gradients everywhere. Totally different style. Daisy is the same style as Minnie because I have that image. So I know that this is the same style as this one. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you have the car. Like this one matches. Actually, I think this is the one that comes with this style of like print or whatever. But all of these together would drive me nuts. But if I was stuck, I would bring all of them in. Me knowing how I am, it wouldn't be my final one. I would probably bring them in just to kind of get layout. And now I'm on a hunt to match all of the images. So the other part of it is, how fast are you trying to get your final design? If you're someone and you're like, oh, well, I want to have it done. I feel like, designs need to only take 10 minutes, 20 minutes or whatever. And you're trying to rush it. Sometimes a design may, happen over the course of a few days. You may start it. You may have to walk away and then come back to it after you have like fresh ideas. But yeah. Well, to be honest, I didn't know I was having one, but I was in some pain, but I didn't realize it was a heart attack. But I mean, I just felt the pain. Later found out it was a heart attack. Thank you, LaShonda. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah. Anything else? I am definitely like this one right here. It's a good question. But we're 2 hours and 22 minutes in. I'm about to go. I am hungry. I thought I was going to be able to snack on these, but they are nasty. I just need the regular cheeses because these cheddar jacks, not the move. They nasty. I got to find my receipt. Oh, I'm not going to have the receipt. My sister purchased those. I don't have the receipt for that. Damn it. They're not going to let me take it back. I'm just going to go out and buy me some more cheese nips because that's nasty. All right. So I thank you guys so much for your time. I'm about to go pick up my little. I'm going to leave. I don't really have much to do in the office today. Today was a slower day. Yeah. But baby, yesterday, we had a time yesterday. So I'm going to go home because I got home really late, went to bed really late. So I'm going to actually take the rest of the evening off as far as in the official capacity. You might still see me in the social media streets. I'm going to still be responding to comments and post and be in the TikTok streets, but I will be here tomorrow. I don't know. I might take my computer home today and be able to finish designing. I have to upload and set some stuff up. I will tell you the Photoshop, like all of my classes are coming back. They're going to have a live component. I decided that passive doesn't quite work for me. Most people create a course and it's like you're just supposed to put it out there and let people kind of just buy it or whatever. I like live, so I'm going to I'm trying to figure out how to do it because I want to just build on the class I already have and have a live component versus doing a whole new class. But I got to make sure people actually sign up, because if it's no one signs up and then like now I have to teach this class again to people who already paid for it, I'm not making any money off of it. It doesn't make any sense for me. But those who want to learn like party favors, vector, like SVGs, memorial designs, grad stuff, text effects, all those things, Photoshop, bringing them back, scheduling lives, and hoping that new people sign up because, yeah, passive, I like to teach. I'm addicted to teaching, so I need to have live sessions. So yeah, just be on the lookout for that. They're all coming back as early as next week. Some of them are coming back. Photoshop will be back as early as next week. So until next time, guys, have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity, be incredible, show your love and support by visiting our website. Just kind of go take a look. Not saying you have to buy anything, but at least go take a look at the website, see if there's a class, if there's a file, like a digital file that, you know, may interest you. The vault may interest you. We have a lot of things on the website. If you haven't been there, you know, you haven't really perused the website. So go check it out. And I should talk to you guys later. Peace.